Chevy 2 with Fawcett Racing Power. Bill Jackson, Tower Side, 1,000 Oaks, 53 Stu D. Baker. 502 cubic inches to outlet 1030. At the stripe said Shag Wentworth. In the Shag Nesty, it runs an 1169. But Jackson broke out with a 22 on a 30, so Shag comes back for round next. Tony Shivington, 1087 Dial from Bakersfield, the 3Cs Racing. 65 Chevelle, 454. Dial's 1087. Steve Matson and that King Oil Tools Consolidated Tile Firebird. Dial's at 1071. Shivington gonna have to do some work. I've seen it done many times before. Nah. 1078 for the King Oil Tools Firebird at Steve Matton's on the 71 dial off the 12 light. Shivington runs an 87, but he gave up like what, 800ths of a second? Nah, you're not going to do that with Matson. Kevin Sizemore, Delano. The 70 Camaro. 910 dialing over in the Automobile Club lane. Darren Sizemore, Bakersfield. And that 66 Nova here in Tower Lane. Ooh, Kevin goes red. Darren gets the win light. He goes around next to Hopper. And of course, Darren breaks out with the red bump. Kevin did the deal. Ted Bertram out of Palmdale. Nice. 56 Bel Air with a small black 350. Tim Gorman. That's Delano Propane guy, Bakersfield. 64 Chevy El Camino, 489. And want to thank Tim and Megan Anita, better known as Hop Sing, for their participation and sponsorship at ANRA in 2012. Tim gets a freebie, runs 1072 with a 4 on a 1070. Bertram, I don't know, but there is no reset in eliminations. He goes up the highway and runs a 55 and would have been at 46. Tom Frisbee in the Vega, Ridgecrest, 75 Vega, 364 power. Kevin Homart from San Dimas in the Show and Go, 70 Camaro, 427, 906 dial in the Budweiser Lane Tower Side. Camaro chasing down Frisbee in the Vega at the stripe. Oh, it's Kevin, 910 with a 2 on the 906 dial. Margin of victory, 2. And Frisbee watching. Homard racing in the next round. DJ Momon. San Dimas, 71 Vega, 350, 1134 dial. Brandon Clark in the Engine Dynamic 68 Mimi Roadrunner. 500 cubic inches, dials 1061 in the Budweiser Lane Tower Side. Red Bull by DJ. Brandon Clark, 195 in green. Clark at the big end runs 1060 with a 6-4 thou off his number. But Momon red bulbed and give it up from the get-go. Ryan Purdy, Chino, California, the 70 Chevy Nova. 355 cubic inches and 1014 dial. Rusty Dalton, 65 Chevy Malibu. 409 small block, new one. 1145 the dial for Rusty in the Budweiser Lane. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. If you are staying and leaving your stuff for the March meet, you need to park it down at the south end of the pits by the Time Shack booth. If you are leaving your stuff here until Wednesday when you can park it in, or Thursday, You need to park it on the south end of the property, out by the time slip booth. Purdy takes a Purdy win, 10:36.3 on the 14 to beat Dalton, who runs a 69 on his 11:45 dial. No son bueno. E. Edward Gas, E. Edward Gas, we need you to the lanes. E. Edward Gas, E. Edward Gas, we need you to the lane. Kevin Miller gets a single. Dalton's 1078, had a 57 light going right up the highway. Bam, 10-11-03. He'll fix that when there's somebody in the other lane. Open wheel coming around the corner. Gina Wallace taking on Dick Sappington. Gina with that 170 cubic inch Ford Falcon setup, 3-speed, 170 cubic inch 6-cylinder. Sappington, it's just a bunch of old stuff. Yeah, Buick stuff. I think he calls it an Overland because it goes over land. Just put the swoopy aerodynamic body on it. So Sappington taking on Gina Wallace. She's part of that Team Twirling deal and Roseberry family deal. Joe should be somewhere around there close, I'd think. Anyway, there goes Gina. And here comes Dick. My God, Dick has an advantage. Can he turn it into a win light? Let's see here. They roll on up to the big end, and win light goes to Dick Sappington. 14:43 on his 14:08. 14:08 down. Gina goes too quick. 13:93 with a 4. So the ever scurrilous Dick Sappington moves on. Truly. Dad's watching at home. Hi, Dad. How you doing? Jim Hawk goes red, gives one to Roger. And Turley goes 11:42 on a 10, but made no difference because Hawk went red and he didn't waste it. Rex Salzburg, Danny Valencia. Danny Valencia is the reigning open wheel champion, but there's no way that he can make it this year from Tehachapi. The Valencia Motorsports 29 Ford with the 454 Dallas 1092. And Salzburg 1078. That prominent rider Rat Rod 27 Ford T with a small block 350. Big end. Win light goes over to Salzburg as Valencia goes 88 on his 92. And look at here. Salzburg runs the number 1 thou off. 1078 with a 1. Ray Gonzalez, our points leader in open wheel this year from Valencia. Another time around Antiques, 64 Jim Davis chassis, 1074 dial. Auto Club lane, and Dave Burgess in the 29 Essex, 350 dials, 1030. D. David Gass, and NE3 to the lanes. D. David Gass and Nostalgia Eliminator number 3 to the lanes. D. David Gass and NE3 to the lane. Deep stage by our points leader, and he's toast on a rope. And Burgess moves on. Mike Woodard, and the only place you're going to see a Crosley wagon racing with a 5-liter Ford. Down 1140, ran 1153.7. I'm thinking this is E. Edward Gass, the 1160 Index. Jeff Beck, Jared Haston. Back in the big block Chevy Chevelle and Ford Mustang 408 cubic inches. Something off in the 5-liter. D. David Gass, NE3. D. David Gass, NE3 to the lane. Beck, he's a bad boy. He can run the numbers. So can Jared. The Chevy Ford matchup. Booking up to the top of the track. Wind light's going to go to the Chevy or the Ford. It's going to go to the Chevy on a double breakout. 11:57, closer to the 60 than the 42 for Haston. And Haston in the Mustang sets down. Jeff Beck goes on. Frankie Sizemore with the big block 454 over in the Auto Club lane. Jacob King cuts a break, gets a red ball from Frankie. And Jacob goes to the next round at E-Gas. Jacob breaks out on top end, but the red ball by Sizemore, 4th out red, gone and done. Mega Anita Gorman, her friends, even her dad calls her Hop Sing. That's Delano Propane. Nice folks. Sponsors at ANRA this year. Bakersfield, where they live. Megan Anita in the Nova taking on Richard R.L. Lillo. Specialty gear and trans of a Tascadero in the 64 Ranchero with the 5-liter. They hop together. They bop right on down the track. Next to one another at the top, and bam, Megan Anita Gorman, 1160 with a 2 off a 29 light. Tim is like, happy guy. Breakout by Lillo, 1154 with a 9, and the young lady intimidated the old guy. Gary Haston and Rusty Dalton. Dalton over here in the Malibu. Haston over there in the Mustang. At the top end of the racetrack, wind light goes to Gary Haston. A 172 light and a 185 or 1185.5 beats Rusty Dalton's 49 light. But Dalton only runs a 12.049 to the top end. Not close enough to the index. And Dalton's gone and Haston's in. Another license pass. .980, so license pass doesn't tell me too much. That's Roger Holder and his True 10.5 Get Out of Here Camaro, which will be running at NMCA with us on October 27th and 28th in the 8th mile. That is a 200-mile-an-hour door slammer in the quarter mile. Remember, you need photos from this weekend. Check out ANRA.com. Video coverage this weekend. You can see archives at. Let me look at that one. My brain has not encapsulated that completely. Livestream.com archives if you want to watch yesterday and today after we're done. Livestream.com archives to watch the quarter mile productions after we are done. If you're watching it live, it's a beautiful thing. You can go to Quarter Mile Productions. Want to thank Larry Luna and Jeff Galatro Sr. and Jeff Galatro Jr. Canon Cameras. Livestream.com, Butch, John, and Blake Bowser, and all the friends at ANRA for their support of QuarterMileProductions.com. And, yep, I talk about the holder deal, and it breaks.